YouTube, what's going on? It's your boy James Wildin back with another video. And this video, we're just going to be talking about the two games of the night, the Portland Trailblazers versus the Denver Nuggets, and the Miami Heat versus the Milwaukee Bucks. And if you didn't know, the spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the game or seen the highlights, the Milwaukee Bucks won 132-98, and the Denver Nuggets won 128-109. So I'm just gonna break down what I think, uh, like what I saw and what I think changed for the Miami Heat to even pull out a game three. Because if you've seen my previous video, I have them winning this series. I had them winning in five, but look like I got that one wrong because it doesn't look too good for them going into Miami for game three. So this game, Giannis really didn't have to do much. He had a smooth 31 points, but it really didn't feel like he had 31 points because he was just coasting because his team was up the whole game. And then Chris Middleton only had 17 points. It didn't even seem like he was doing much either. It was just they were playing way better offense. They were hitting more threes. And if I was to say how many threes they made as a team, let me look at the stats. I'm looking right here. They made 22 threes in the game. They made history because they made so many threes in the first half. That's never happened. And then they had this guy on their roster. His name is Forbes. He used to play with the San Antonio Spurs. He ended up dropping a cool 22 points. He was on fire, yo. Like anything he got in his hand, like I think he hit like maybe two off the dribble, but everything was from three, catch and shoot off a screen, just lighting it up. And that was a game changer. That was like every time Miami like thought they were about to try to do something, he was coming down hitting a dagger. Like, nah, not in this house, not today. And that was crucial. So that's another reason why I think like the Miami Heat might not come back for game three because from what I've seen in the first two games, they just have a way deeper bench. And the Miami Heat, their bench is super old. Like, let me go over here to the Miami Heat stats. Their top scorer was off the bench, Dwayne Dedman, and he had 19, which is cool, but you don't want your center off the bench having your most points and he played less than your top superstars. Like Jimmy Butler only took 10 shots, hit 10 points. If you're going to try to make it back to the finals or anywhere in the playoffs, you need to be more aggressive. Like their offense looked horrible. It was a mostly like picking handoffs for threes or pass it down low to Bam Adebayo, and he wasn't really trying to be aggressive. He was just trying to like get the ball, look for someone open, and it wasn't really like him being aggressive. Like he wasn't looking to score. Like I understand that the Bucks have like towers down there. They have Brook Lopez, Giannis, Bobby Portis. They have people down there in the paint to try to stop him from getting to the paint. And it was similar to what Anthony Davis did the other day. Like he was just settling for like little mini close jumpers, and that didn't look like that was really comfortable for him. So he was missing those shots. So he wasn't really hitting. Bam had 16, but it was like when the game was basically over. And Jimmy Butler didn't even attempt a 3-pointer. He was just out. And then this is their team. This is why I don't think they're gonna make it far. Their team is horrible. Like they traded for Victor Oladipo in the middle of the season, and Victor Oladipo is not playing. If you didn't know, he's hurt, and he's always hurt. So he's a free agent this summer. I hope he doesn't even get picked up by any team because he doesn't even deserve it because he's been hurt every year for the last 2 to 3 years. Like last year, he didn't even play in the bubble. He got because he was hurt. The year before that, he hurt his calf. He didn't play, and then I think the one year before that, he actually like played majority of the season and had like a freak accident happen. And ever since then, he's been on a downhill spiral. And actually, it goes even further. When he was with the Magic, he got hurt. But this is what their bench consists of in their roster. Trevor Ariza, who's been in the league for I don't know when, since Father Time was invented. And they have They have Duncan Robinson, and I want to talk about Duncan Robinson. His game is so predictable that it's ridiculous. That's why he can't do anything for the Heat. Like last year, he threw the people off guard. He was in the bubble. No one knew about him. He was running all screens, hitting threes. This year, niggas got that shit figured out. Like, bro, you're gonna have to try to do something else. And his team is like, their scheme seems like it's wrapped around that, and he's not. They're trying to get him wide open threes, and that's not working to his best of abilities of what he can do. But then let's just keep going down this roster. Like it doesn't get any better. Kendrick Nunn, that's your starting point guard. He's shooting 4 for 14. Like that's not gonna get the job done. And he's like more of what Reggie Jackson was for the OKC Thunder back in the day. He was just coming off the bench, just being a little spark plug. Like I see him being in that role. That's what he was mostly last year before he got hurt. Goran Dragic was the starting point guard. But then let's get to Goran Dragic. Goran Dragic got hurt last year. You know, he got hurt in the bubble. He hurt his knee, I believe. Didn't really play. Was a knee or his ankle? One of the two. He got injured, and then this year he doesn't even look like he can defend a soul. Like I could probably cross him up, and I don't even play basketball. Um, so he can score, but he's not defending a soul. So I don't think they're gonna be able to stick him on anybody. Even if they was to get past the Bucks, they would be playing either the Nets or the Boston Celtics, and the Boston Celtics have Kemba. The Nets have Kyrie, James Harden, and their whole unit over there. So I don't think he'll be able to defend anybody. So I don't think they deserve it. And then Tyler Hero, like they didn't even want to give him up in a trade for James Harden, who they could have had, but the Nets, they wanted to keep him, and he doesn't show up. He plays literally like 6-8 minutes a game and shoots horrible, and he doesn't really defend either. So he's a streaky shooter, I understand, but like that's not gonna work if you want to try to make it to the finals again or win a championship. Then they have a bunch of nobodies on their roster. Then they have DNP by Udonis Haslam. That's holding up a spot. So what if I was the Miami Heat, if they lose this series, which I believe they will get swept. They need to revamp their whole bench and roster. They need to build around Jimmy Butler and Bam Adebayo, because this roster isn't giving them any justice. They don't have anyone that they can go to off their bench to help them be a spark plug. Every team that's in the playoffs that is in contention has at least one or two pieces that can do that. They have one who is Goran Dragic, but he really should be a starter. And I don't think they should re-sign Victor Oladipo. Let's get over to the next game, the game that was a little bit more exciting. The Portland Trailblazers and the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets won this game, 128-109. It was an exciting game, back and forth all game. Jokic had an amazing game. So did Damian Lillard. Like I thought Damian Lillard was gonna pull off a magician trick and surprise me with the win, because he ended up having a great game. He ended up having 42 points, and it didn't even seem. It seemed like he had 50. And then it was just a huge change from game 1 to game 2 for the Portland Trailblazers, because if you see my video, I think I have them going super far and deep into the playoffs. But if they can't beat teams like this, because you know last year the Denver Nuggets came back from 3-1 deficits in every series that they were in. So if they can't even beat them this year without Jamal Murray, even if they had Jamal Murray, it'll be even worse for them. So they need to really play better defense. Like not get too high on one game, winning game 1. Like they need to realize like there's another game to be played until the series is over. Cause they did they have the same issue kind of sort of. They need more help for Damian Lillard. Damian Lillard has 42 points, but they have his co-host, quote unquote, best backcourt in the league. CJ McCollum only taking 12 shots. CJ McCollum should be having 25-30 right beside Damian Lillard's 42. And then their wing players, they went out and got rid of Gary Trent. I think they're regretting that right now because Gary Trent's not even in the playoffs. He went to the Toronto Raptors and he's sitting at home chilling, waiting for the offseason to go get a bag from somebody because somebody's going to give him that bag. And they were too worried about not having to pay him over the summer, and they should have worried about having him for right now when they needed him, because he would have had way more than Norman Powell, because Norman Powell only had 15, but he wasn't really that helpful on the assist side, like to back up Damian Lillard off the bench, being a scoring point guard who could assist as well, and that's what he was doing for them. Then they're playing Robert Covington, who it just doesn't look like his defense is there where it used to be when he was with the Sixers and when he was with Minnesota. So like, and then your Nurkic, he couldn't stay out of foul trouble because of Jokic. Joker was cooking him up. And then they have Enes Kanter, who everyone knows he doesn't play defense in the slightest. So then Carmelo Anthony, I gave him all his praise in the last video, his highlights, but tonight he disappointed me. He only had one. He was 1 for 5. He had 1 3 and a couple free throws. He didn't really help them at all either. So let's get over to the winners though. Let's get on with the video. It'll be too long. Michael Porter, man, he's a dog, man. He's really stepping up into that second scoring role for the Nuggets since Jamal Murray went down. He ended up with 18, but those were 18 big ones. He hit like 2 or 3 threes in the first half in front of defenders like they weren't even there. He shot over them. Then their new acquisition, Aaron Gordon, they went out and got him. He had 13, which is very solid for him, because he defended Damian Lillard very well off the switch. He made Damian Lillard's job very hard. Then Jokic, the MVP. And if I had to pick today, I'd say it was either between him and Joel Embiid. But Joel Embiid hasn't played many games. This man played every game, and then tonight he played super efficient. Last game he had 35 points, but tonight he had 38, 8 rebounds, 5 assists. Like, last game, he only had 1 assist, and that wasn't really his nature. He normally gets everybody involved. And then a very underrated person on their roster is Campazzo. Campazzo was getting some nice crucial steals for the Nuggets and making it real hard on them because he was scoring in transition. And that's just I think the Nuggets are really a built team, but I think next game for the Portland Trailblazers to have a better game, they need to get because Dame's gonna get his 40 or 30 points. I think he needs to get his teammates more involved in the beginning, and they need to hold the ball more because they had a lot of turnovers, and that's not gonna win you the game if you have so many turnovers. But I'm out of here. Tomorrow we have the Brooklyn Nets and the Boston Celtics and the Lakers and the Suns, and we have the last game of the night. We have the Clippers, I want to say. I don't know 100% sure what games are on tomorrow. I do know the Brooklyn Nets play and the Clippers play. So those are the games. And if this video gets enough views and likes, so make sure you like the video, comment, subscribe. Upload another one of these, and if you like hearing my opinions and my insight on what I saw in the game, be sure to drop down below. Drop in the comments like what you saw in the games, and then go watch the highlights, and then come back to this video and let me know like what you think that each team can do better to win more games, especially the Miami Heat. Tell me what you thought about what I said about the Miami Heat. I think their roster needs a revamp. I'm out.